NXP Semiconductors.
Hello, Roman Budak. We'll be programming the NXP Bluetooth LE development boards. We have both a dongle and a development board. We'll be showing you how to program those. The two buttons on the board, the top two are user-defined buttons. We won't need those for doing flash programming. We will need to press that little button in there, which is the reset button, and we'll be watching the LEDs as we go through the flashing process to make sure we have that properly done. Be connecting up a USB connector from here into the computer to check what COM port. The COM port travels with the computer, so that we'll see the COM port 4, COM port 5 stay attached to these devices, but the video will quickly show you how to check which COM port they're plugged into. So let's start out with this board. We'll plug in the USB connectors, plug it in, and show you what to do next.
Hello, Roman Budak. So we are programming the development board first. And what I have done is plugged in the development board, and I want to find out what COM port it is. I may see with my device manager, I may see other Bluetooth devices, but those would be strictly on my PC. So I want to find out the BLE dongle or development board in this case, and that shows up down here under COM ports, COM port 4. In this particular case, that development board will always be COM port 4, no matter which USB port I plug it into. So I know it's COM 4. Now the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and load up my tools, QBlue tools. I want to load up the factory binary files just to make sure I know how to program them. So I click on here. I want to write down this path where those binary files are at, and I'm going to use, for the dongle, I'm going to use NP controller. For the actual device, I'm going to do QPP. So I'm going to use this QPP service binary file. So I write down those paths, make sure that I know where those are at. And now on my QBlue tool, I'm going to go ahead and do the in-circuit programming. I use this tool for both the dongle and the development board. In the case of the development board, I will have to press down that switch that we talked about just a second earlier when we were showing you the board. First thing I have to do is go to COM port 4. I have to choose the right software, so I've had my path, same one that I showed up under the QBlue tool. And right now, I want to make sure that I load the QPP file into the device. So QPPS, go ahead and open that. And now I'm going to do the programming. So I'm going to hit start here, and the board will wait until I hit the reset button on my development board. I'm not going to break away for that, so I'll hit start, and then we'll show you what happens in the video afterwards. So I hit start right now. It's waiting for the reset switch. When I hit the reset switch, the red LED goes away, as I'll show you in the video in a second, and it starts programming. I get a successful program. So let's break away right now and show you that development board and what the LEDs actually do when I hit the reset button. But I've successfully programmed in the factory default QPPS binary file. When I come back, we'll be doing the dongle.
All right, so we plugged in the USB cable into the board. The LED status right now doesn't matter. It depends on what the application was written to do, and at the moment it's just running in an unknown state. Again, these buttons are the user buttons that are used by the program. The one that we'll be pushing is the reset button, the little button on top. We'll push that just before we flash the software. So I've pressed the start button on the software tool. Now I have to press the reset button on the board, and I see that the red LED goes out, and on my screen I see that it's flash programming. When it's done, the red LED turns on to tell me that it has completed the flash programming. So let's see what the screen looks like.
Hello, Roman Budak. We're back now. And what I'm going to do now is program the dongle. So I've plugged in the dongle. Again, looking at my device manager, there may be other Bluetooth devices showing, but those would be on my computer. I want the actual dongle that's plugged into the USB port. So I open up my ports, and I see that my dongle is COM port 5. My development board is COM port 4. So I verified that it is COM port 5. As I did earlier, I'm going to bring up the QBlue tool, and I want to look at the example binary files by date. I know that this date I loaded up the development tools, and I want to see the NP controller. This is the one that I'm going to load into the dongle. So I know the file, I know what directory it's loaded in. Let me bring up the in-circuit programming tool. Sorry, it was already open. In this case, I won't have to do a reset. The programming steps are almost the same, except that I don't have to hit that reset button on the device. UART, I said I'm at COM port 5 for the dongle, 115.2 kilobaud. I'm not doing a configuration file, no data file, make sure flash lock is off for development purposes. I open up my directory, all the factory default software is in the same directory, so I'm going to go ahead and open up the NP controller. My file is open, I don't need to load anything else. Now when I hit start, my dongle goes ahead and programs. In this case, the USB port is controlling the reset and start functions of the device. It's successfully programmed. After this, now I can go ahead, look at the video on how to run the QPP profile to be able to read it with a tablet, be able to read it with the dongle because I've loaded in the factory default software. This should easily translate into when you're doing your own project, how you would flash it, obviously by opening up the file here and going to the directory where you stored your project files. Any other questions, feel free to get a hold of me or your local sales team. Take care.